Oh, now you take responsibility after the damn game. All right, Acho, are you worried the Lakers are overmatched in this series?
Hell no, they ain't overmatched, Sale. Not at all. They were outplayed, but they're not overmatched. Can we make one thing clear, big dog?
I like that.
To be overmatched is to say that the other team is better than the Lakers. Ooh. And as I looked at it, the Lakers bench outscored the Suns bench. So if we want to talk about their benches being at least on par to being equal, then we can do that, right? Let's neutralize those two things. So now you want to tell me, sir, somehow, some way that Ayton, Paul, Booker are better, or any combination outside of a combination that the Brooklyn Nets can provide is better than the Lakers starting lineup when LeBron James and Anthony Davis are on the court. No, they were outplayed, but they're not overmatched. Furthermore, Marcellus, you beat me to a pulp during football season, but not to a pulp. You beat me to intelligence. Meaning, I was so stuck on an idiotic take. The Buccaneers are not going to amount to anything. The Buccaneers are not going to amount to anything. A wise man learns from their own mistakes at times.
Let's go.
And last year, after the Lakers lost to the Trailblazers, I, a fool, said this. Shall we? Look at the Lakers depth chart. Look at the Lakers roster. Look at the Trailblazers roster. The Blazers have a better roster. Now, I sounded convincing, but you can be convincingly stupid. And last year, I was convincingly stupid.
That's funny.
The Lakers lost to the Blazers, game one. I was like, man, the Blazers have a better roster. And what happened? Lakers rolled off 4 straight W's. Bang. The Lakers lost to the Rockets by 15. Game one, semifinals. Man, No. What happened? The Lakers rolled off 4 straight W's. So now the Lakers lose to the Suns by 9 points. I ain't no dummy. I was 29 back then. I'm a strong 30 now. Grown 30. I ain't making them same 29-year-old mistakes. Lakers are not overmatched in this series. They were outplayed for a day, outplayed for a night, but not overmatched.
Big dog, I love you so much, man. First of all, I'm glad to have you back here in mainland America. I know you were in Hawaii. You know why? Because I could tell you didn't watch this game. I could tell you were flying over the Pacific and you just saw the box score. Only down 9, only lost by 9. Oh, God, the Lakers going to be fine. They're not overmatched. Did you watch it? I know you got first-class seats. Did you have that little screen on and watch this game, man? Damn! Lakers overmatched, big dog. But I love your definition of it. I don't want to say that the Phoenix roster is better. I just think it fits better versus what the Lakers are going to pose as a threat. One, LeBron is not LeBron just yet. Be real. Whatever percentage this is of LeBron, 80-some%, that's not full king. AD, in all of his missed games this year, starting to add up, big dog. AD went out there and gave you, 13 points? And people act like, oh, that's okay. It's just game one. Game two may look a little like that as well because Ayton is not playing in terms of not only defensive presence, but offensive production. Okay, so you put up an old video of you looking like some rapper I ain't never seen before, and a little dusty back then. I'm glad you cleaned it up right now. Here's the thing. You did what everyone does in classic response to doing something wrong. You overcorrect. You overcorrect right now in saying, you know what? They're not overmatched. They're fine. Let me tell you why I knew they were overmatched. At halftime, when you saw the Suns have a 8-point lead, and they went into halftime, had no free throws, 0 free throws to the Lakers in the first half, 17. And the Lakers were down 8. I said, oh, wait a minute. And then in terms of turnovers, they were dead even. You've been in there before when you had to give Coach the dead face because he's trying to rile the troops up, but he's lying. You sit there, if you're down 8 and you have not been to the free throw line yet, and you've been to the free throw line 17 times, and you're down 8 and the other team hasn't been just once, you sitting there like, Coach, we need a different calculation, different formula. Something ain't adding up because that team hasn't even got the charity on their side just yet. You finished the game, 28 free throw attempts versus 12. They tried to even it out, and they still didn't do that. This team wins by 9 with only 12 free throws. So keep talking about the production of Devin Booker, 34 points. Keep talking about the lineup and talk about how DeAndre Ayton looked balling out of control, 20-10 again for his 10th game of the season. But it ain't even about that. It's about there's still more juice left to squeeze out of the Phoenix Suns, even more juice than with the Lakers.
Here's the problem, Sale, and the problem is this. You're too smart for me to let you off the hook with these utterances. Why do I say that?
Let's go.
So you know as well as anybody in the world, there's a difference between past tense, present tense, and progressive tense.
Yes.
See, progressive tense is something that's happening at the present moment.
I like you.
Past tense is something that happened. If you would have asked me, were the Lakers overmatched? I would have said yes. You asked me, are progressive tense, something that's happening in the present moment. Are the Lakers overmatched? The answer is clearly no. Because to say, are the Lakers overmatched is to say, is Ayton a better player than Anthony Davis? No. Is Devin Booker a better player than LeBron James? No. Was Devin Booker a better player than LeBron James on Sunday? Yes. Was DeAndre Ayton clearly a better player than Anthony Davis and Drummond combined on Sunday? Yes. Ayton gave you 16 boards. Anthony Davis, where were you? Booker gave you 34 points. LeBron James, where were you? So if you want to say, were the Lakers past tense outmatched, I'll give you that. But here's my thing, big dog. You saw just 2 weeks ago, Lakers played the Suns. Anthony Davis had 42, 15, 5 and 5, 42, 12, 5 and 5. Booker had 6, not Booker, excuse me. Ayton had 6, if I'm not mistaken. They're not a better player. They're not better players than the Lakers. They played a better game. But again, I'll go back to last year. Game 1, Damian Lillard, he dropped 34. LeBron and AD had 20 and 20. Damian Lillard's not a better player than AD and LeBron. But after one game, you could have thought so. Go back to the Rockets. Game 1, semifinals, Lakers, last year. Harden had 34. Westbrook had 25. Anthony Davis had like 21. LeBron had 20. Harden and Westbrook outplayed LeBron and AD for a game. They're not better players. It's the same thing we saw right now. Don't make the mistake I made, Sel.
Okay.
I was willing to humble myself and listen to you after the Buccaneers
Oh,
tape.
you humble now.
I think it's time, sir, that you do the same.
I need to humble myself.
And listen to my take.
Listen to you? All right, I'm going to be humble now, finally. Like Steven Jackson, maybe. Like, you know what I'm saying? My dog Stacks. Come on, man. Apologize, damn it. All right, here we go. Marcellus. I keep hearing stuff that just adds to my notes. I only got 2 pages today. I'm working on it. You know, the bosses say I got too many damn notes. I was like, I got too many damn quotes, too, on top of notes. But let's talk about what you brought up, which is not going to help your cause at all. You say that the roster is better than the roster of Phoenix, the Lakers roster. Duh. How about this? Let's personalize it. Let's pull at your heartstrings. Acho, I think you were better than some players that you were drafted in front of. Duh. But how about this? I think you were probably better than some players that were drafted before you. But that hamstring, what happened? Quad. What happened during the combine again?
Tore my quad completely off the bone.
You tore your quad completely off the bone. So you weren't Emmanuel Acho.
No,
you
sir.
were more Emmanuel Ouch. Right.
Ouch.
Okay. So what does that mean in terms of performance? Compromise. That's all I'm talking about right now. When we progressive, present, future, whatever the hell you want to say. This team is compromised. LeBron James is not at full 100% strength. Anthony Davis is maybe not even at 75%. Tendinosis, the ankle bone connected to the knee bone, everything. Like, he is literally walking around right now trying to piece it all together. So what happens a lot of times when you were coming back from injury, you respond from injury, you can have a blip. You could have a moment and everyone's like, see, he's back. But as you know this by being a former athlete, it's the consistency that tells you you're back. Anthony Davis has been inconsistent in his return. Here's the problem. In basketball terms, I only played 1 year of basketball in 1 day. I played 1 year when I was 8 years old, and I played 1 day in high school because I was the man in high school football. They're like, just come rebound. Got out there, everybody was 6'8". I said, nah, dog. I can't jump that high. Them dudes ain't even jumping getting the rebound over me. Here's the thing. They teach you something called the double rebound, the tip rebound. So to see explosiveness, it's not about getting a rebound. It's who can land and jump again, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what Anthony Davis can't do right now. He could get the first one. He could show you full effort and get 42 points one game. But then what's the next game going to look like? What's this game going to look like? 13 points. Anthony Davis, until he can stabilize himself, DeAndre Ayton is going to eat off of Anthony Davis. This is a compromised roster that has issues that we already addressed. People call me a hater because I say stuff too early. And people are like, you just hating. I'm like, no, just keep watching. It's going to happen. I told you that the Lakers don't shoot well enough from the three-point percentage so they can advance. Lakers finished this season ranked 21st in the league in three-pointers, 10th in the West alone. Last game, 27% from the three. Everybody say, oh, they're going to shoot better. How much better? They only 21st in the league. You look at this percentage, that's not going to cut it. Got out-rebounded, 47 to 33. Oh, man, they tall. They're going to get all the rebounds. Are they? They're compromised. Lakers have lost 17 of their last 19 games when they've been out-rebounded, 10 of 11 in the Western Conference alone. All I'm saying is this is actually going as advertised. The number 2 seed looks better than the number 7 seed.
That's not the case. Let's break it down. We spent all this time talking, but let me get to the crux of the real issue.
What?
The issue is this. Anthony Davis picks and chooses when he wants to be elite, and LeBron James picks and chooses when he wants to be elite, but LeBron James does it in a calculated fashion.
Let's go.
Anthony Davis, remember, every series last year except for one against the Denver Nuggets, Anthony Davis had one game in that series where he only scored in the teens. He had one game. Okay. Against the Trailblazers, he only scored in the teens in Game 4. Against the Clippers, he only scored in the teens again in Game 4. Against the Heat, he only scored in the teens in Game 3. Anthony Davis, he picks and chooses when he wants to dominate. LeBron James picks and chooses as well, but he does so calculated. Sel, you've been the upperclassman on a team before. If y'all are watching and y'all played sports, y'all also have. Now, when you're the upperclassman on a team, your coach will typically say you need to finish the workouts in first. If we're running sprint races, you need to cross the line in first.
Lead by example.
Lead by example. Now, as an upperclassman, you understand this. If I have to finish every sprint drill in first place, that means I also have to finish the last drill in first place. So I have to have enough energy, conserve enough energy, not for the first rep, but I got to conserve enough energy for the 7th rep. Because come the 7th rep, there's going to be some underclassman who goes all out. And when he goes all out on that 2nd rep, on that 7th rep, do I have enough energy to still beat him then? LeBron James is like, come Game 7.
Okay.
Do I have enough energy to still beat y'all when y'all really going all out? LeBron James is just conserving energy. He's always done that the last several years since he's gotten older. He's just kind of calculating, okay, can we beat the Suns without me going all out? Okay, we lose by 9 with me not going all out. Okay, let me give it a little bit more and see if we can beat them without going, okay, dang, we can't. Okay, let me give it a little bit more. LeBron James is calculated with his conservation. Anthony Davis, I think he just kind of picks and chooses. Again, last year it happened, big dog.
Yes.
He only gave you 18 points. He only gave you 13 points. He only gave you 15 points. It happens to AD all the time. LeBron James, though, he is that upperclassman, which we all have been. He's gauging, how much energy does it take for me to win this rep? Okay, I got to give you a little bit more. Bet. I'm going to give you a little bit more.
I like that part. I like that part because it is a mental calculation. You're right. LeBron James, they've clocked him in terms of mileage on the court, speedometer in terms of him and pace on the court, where he, at one time in the playoffs, I think this was 3 years ago, he had the 2nd slowest of any player. And we know damn well that locomotive can move faster than the 2nd slowest, but it was calculated. Here's the problem. You could be miscalculated in your own calculations. I know one thing from being the old dog on the team before, that when I'm mindful of the end, when I'm starting, that means I'm old. And chasing these jackrabbits, they ain't thinking about the end. They're just thinking about right now, eating. And LeBron James, sitting there with Anthony Davis, are a little too mindful of how this is going to play out instead of just pouring it all in to this moment. Here's the thing. They trying to outsize him with Drummond as well. You try to outsize him, but you can't out-rebound him? That's a bad statistic. Here we go again. You're trying to bully him up, and you're getting all the free throw attempts. But guess what? That team beats you by 9 without that amount of free throw attempts. So when you get into a conversation, you just talk about everything doesn't add up. The mental calculation, the fact that this team had fewer free throws and still beat y'all, the fact that this team out-rebounded y'all, and y'all a bigger team. If Ayton is on this game, he's going to neutralize them in terms of the bigs, and it's going to be a problem. CP3 had a stinger, bro. He thought it was his shoulder because he don't play football. It was nothing but a stinger. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah, you got that. For people at home, y'all never had a stinger? It's called temporary paralysis. From here to your fingertips, it ain't working. And you're like, CP3 was shooting threes under the rim. He couldn't understand. He couldn't even dribble. But the point is, he'll be fine. You know this. It's easier to reoccur, but you'll be fine in the interim. All that adds up to another Phoenix Suns victory. We'll see.